Hello, everybody. It's Mila. I figured I would do a vlog just because if my phone keeps buzzing, I'm sorry, but this is kind of just spur of the moment. But I wanted to talk about a few things, and I really wanted, especially like the women and mothers specifically who are battling anxiety and depression, just to hear kind of my story and like what I've been through, and to encourage you guys to get the help you need and to just be positive about the fact that you can change and there is help and there are people who care and love you. Um, so I'll start off like after I had my youngest son AJ, he's 4 now. Um, I I had postpartum depression. Like it wasn't real bad. It was just I was like, yeah, I had it after my last two kids. So after Silas and after AJ, I had postpartum depression. So it wasn't like super bad. I just figured I'd get through it. Everything would be fine. And then we found out we were going to be moving. And that's when my anxiety kind of started. Like, I was like, okay, I would get so anxious about making sure all the papers were in order that we needed. We were going to be moving, 4 kids to a whole nother state. And for me at the time, that was a lot. The last time I was a military spouse with my ex-husband, we had one child and it was easy to move and kind of do things. And I was younger, like I was much younger. So it became, kind of difficult for me mentally. And I didn't really like think too much about it, but I did notice I started to drink more. And that is a clear sign, just so you guys know, that maybe if you feel the need or the urge to drink more, um, maybe something might be off. So we proceeded to move to Colorado. Um, it was like a shit show from the beginning. Like, I'm not even kidding. Without going into too many details, there was, just a lot of hard times with, without too many details here. How do I say this? Um, my husband had some dissatisfaction at work. And so that kind of, he wasn't happy. And I was, constantly trying to like fill in any void he needed. And then we found out I was pregnant. So we were excited about that. From the beginning, felt like it was a little girl. We even picked out a name at the beginning. We were going to name her Nova. And then about 9 or 10 weeks into the pregnancy, I had a miscarriage and it sucked. Now, prior to having the miscarriage with Nova, I had been diagnosed with a deep vein thrombosis in my calf and it had embolized into my lungs. Um, my anxiety kind of deepened there because if I had not if they had not caught it in time, I could have died. And so my anxiety would be keeping me up at night. Like every little heartbeat that I felt was like too fast or deep breath that maybe hurt too much. I was like, this is it. I'm going to die. And so like facing that when you go through like a serious health issue like that, it scares the shit out of you. Like I had to face that and it was not fun. Um, don't recommend. But anyway, we lost the baby, and the doctors at that time had me on too too high of a dose of blood thinners. Now I'm kind of chubby, but they had me on the dose of a blood thinner for somebody who's between 260 and 280 pounds. I'm not that heavy. So with that being said, this has probably caused PTSD for Anthony too, and I feel so bad. I ended up, they sent me home after they found out, and they're like, you'll pass the baby, everything's fine. I was bleeding very heavily, very, very heavily, but they still sent me home. And I went downstairs to the bathroom. I was like butt naked, they have you on pain medication. I didn't feel good. I was just going to go down there to change. Well, I wasn't butt naked, I had underwear on, but everything else was butt naked. I had underwear on, but I went to like change my pad, and I next thing I remember were EMTs in my house. So apparently I passed out, and Anthony, like blood was just gushing, gushing, gushing. Anthony said it looked like a murder scene. There was blood like everywhere, like on the floor, like a puddle of blood. I was weak. I wasn't breathing very well. I was ash gray. I had to go to the hospital. They didn't really do anything but monitor me, to be honest. I think I was only there a few hours before they sent us home, and I eventually did pass the baby, um, which is horrific to see. It's like not fun to see. And so that caused more anxiety. And so again, I was like, well, I'm gonna drink to like maybe make this go away. And the whole time I was doing it, like I felt like I was better than what I was doing. I felt like I know I shouldn't be doing this, but it was the only thing I could think of to stop the anxiety because I didn't want a stigma around me or um, working for the federal government. A lot of times they'll do like a secret clearance where they look at your medical records. I was like, no, nobody can ever know that I have these mental issues. So I'm gonna swallow it and keep it out, like keep it down. Like it's nobody's business but mine and my husband's. Um, so the next year, um, well, actually, so that was in 2017, 2018. Um, Everything was kind of going okay. I told Anthony, I was like, I really, I'm sad about losing the baby, but I'd really like to try to have one more. I wanted to have two kids with them. So we tried, and within the next few months, so we're looking at, I think, September, October, we found out that I was pregnant. And so we were very excited. So I think actually it was maybe a little later. Maybe I feel like it was close to Thanksgiving actually, thinking about it now. We found out that we were pregnant again. Super excited. Felt like it was a boy from the beginning, had the blood test done. Indeed, we were going to have a little boy. So we were just like we were happy and everything was good. Anthony was about to deploy, so that kind of sucked, but with the pregnancy I did everything right. Like I, of course, didn't drink during that time, but I took all my prenatal vitamins. I made sure I was eating right. I bought a bunch of green machine juice, just trying to eat right and keep myself good and healthy. I was working, kids were in school, everything was great. Um, so, like, let's fast forward to March, though. Um, so, one day in March, I wanted to just go get the ultrasounds done, and I had set up a watch party. So, it was just for Anthony, I believe, just him on there. I think actually I'd sent it to some girlfriends as well, so that they could view it with me to find out for sure, like see the ultrasound of finding out the sex of the baby. So I was excited. I laid down, just like you get that, when you're so excited to get your ultrasound and confirm everything so you can start buying all the shit for your baby. That's where I was. I was like excited, like my stomach, I had like butterflies in my stomach. Awesome. So I lay down and she puts the ultrasound scanner on my stomach, you know, and then I'll never forget, she didn't even look me in the eye. She goes, "You need to go to the emergency room right now." And I was like, "What? Why? Is like something wrong?" She's like, "You just need to go to the emergency room. I can't tell you anything. I'm not a doctor, but I strongly advise you to make an appointment with your doctor today or go to the emergency room because I'm not seeing a heartbeat." And like the floor fell out from under me. My husband had been trying to view it, like we were in different time zones. I think he was like 8 or 9 hours ahead of me, and so he had stayed up um, really late to watch or gotten up really early in the morning. I don't remember exactly what time the appointment was, but just it was horrific. It was very very traumatizing with me, or for me. I can't even think straight talking about it. So they ended up sending Anthony home, thank goodness, because I don't know how I would have gotten through that week without him. So they sent Anthony home, and I ended up, like 2 days after they sent him home, I ended up having surgery to remove the baby. So Anthony, he really, seriously, he's amazing. He tried to keep me distracted. We went to the movies like every day. Um, and while the kids were at school, and he really did try to keep me distracted and on my feet and making sure that I was okay, but I was not okay. So he took me to the movies every day. I'm not shitting you. Like, I think we saw 6 movies. I don't remember one. Like, not one. Like, I was so lucid and out of it, I don't remember anything. He said even at one point I thought I heard our child crying. We had named this baby, who was a boy. We knew for sure it was a boy, by the blood test. We named him Axel. And so I thought I heard our son crying outside and went outside to try to look for him. I don't even remember that. I was like so just like out of it. Um, it was very sad, and uh, yeah, like I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So yeah, long story short, Anthony ended up, having to go back after 10 days. He was only allowed to be with me for 10 days. And then it was me just healing. I was off work at the time, I think I got 6 weeks of leave for that. But like a week after Anthony left, like I felt sick. I had a fever. I was like, something's not right. I was having like horrible cramping, which should have gone away at that point. So I called my gynecologist and I told her, I was like, hey, like something like is definitely not right here. Like I don't feel so hot right now. And you said to call you if I had a fever or anything like that. So she's like, yeah, come in, like, just come in this afternoon as a walk-in and we'll get you squeezed in. So I went that afternoon and she ended up doing an ultrasound. Come to find out, the amazing hospital that I went to, they didn't get all the baby. So I don't know if it was, I don't know how they would have not gotten all the baby, but they didn't. So they ended up giving me a pill because they didn't want to do surgery again because I had blood clots. Um, they didn't want to do surgery and increase the risk. So they just gave me a medication to pass everything in my uterus on my own. And so I had to do that at home alone. And it took like 2 days. It was horrible just seeing like flesh, like bits, coming out of you, like in the toilet. Like it was not fun. It was horrible. Um, and that was very, very traumatic for me. We wanted that baby, and I had always wanted to have, 6 kids. I have my 4 beautiful babies. I have my bonus daughter, and me and Anthony wanted one more baby to complete our family. But it just didn't work out that way. And so that was the other thing. I realized I'm having these issues. It's probably not smart for me to try to have another baby because I cannot mentally go through another miscarriage. Now, after everything was said and done, once I was done like passing the baby and all of that, um, at that point, again, and this is hard to admit, I was drinking too much. Um, Anthony came home from deployment. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward. It was just a weird, crazy summer. We had a friend of ours living with us um, who was going through a divorce, and I tried to be like a cornerstone for him. Anthony was gone, and so just everything that happened that summer, the kids, going to see their biological father, and it was just me and AJ alone a lot of the time. It was really hard. It was really, really hard. So Anthony, thank God, ended up coming home in November. We did our Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we flew to Germany for Christmas. Um, Everything was okay with that. And then we came home to Fort Carson. So now we're at the beginning of, um, so he came home in 2019. Yeah. So now we're at the beginning of 2020. We found out we were going to be stationed in Germany. So we were just mad excited. Like, this is what we'd hoped for because my husband retires in a few years. And this is where we wanted to retire from because it's the last time on the Army's dime that we would get to be close to Leanna. So, who is my bonus daughter, Anthony's daughter. So I call her my bonus daughter. Stepdaughter sucks. I wouldn't want to be called that. So, all of that was fine. We were super excited, but then comes the stress with PCSing or moving a family of 6 overseas. I'm talking passports for all the kids, two passports for all the kids. They have to have a travel one and then a government one, which is like a visa. And because we're living over here, shipping 2 vehicles, one which we paid out of pocket. I think it was $2,400 for that, which, mind you, by the way, it got here and they stole our whole $5,000 stereo system out of the back of our vehicle. So that happened. We're going through USA right now for that. But it was so stressful. I mean, I'm talking doctor's appointments, And the whole time, like, I was just like so overwhelmed. Like, I constantly felt like my head was spinning, and there was a lot to do. And my husband did do a lot of it because he had to out process himself from the base we we're at so he could in process at the new base where we're at now in Germany. So I tried to do all this stuff for the family. Passport photos that weren't good enough, like, I had to get them redone twice. Yeah. And then when we got the visa passports, I had to get them done again because they needed separate pictures. So I was just like so overwhelmed, so overwhelmed. And I've seen people, like, when I was kind of posting about what was going on, they're like, "Oh, you're Superwoman," and I'm like, I am a freaking train wreck. Like, you have no idea. Like, I'm a hot mess. Um, I try to portray the positive, but this is my negative. Like, to be completely honest, this is my negative, and it's something that fucking sucks. Like, it's something that's embarrassing to talk about, but why should it be? Because I know every single one of you have gone through these things. I mean, maybe not specifically my problems, but these overwhelming moments, and moments when you're like, I'm being just like a shit mom, I can't handle this, or I'm probably doing this thing wrong. Like, the thing I felt the most guilt for was drinking. Um, and I had to face that, and I had to stop. Well, not stop, but I had to completely curb how much I drank because it was causing so much negativity in my life. I had to cut out everybody who I felt was maybe not the most positive person for me. And that doesn't mean they were bad people. It's just that I got to the point where it was like, do they benefit my life, and can I help them? Like, can I help them, and can they help me? Can we be better people together? And if it was a no, if it was only they caused me anxiety or pain, even though they weren't bad people, I had to just like snip it. I had to cut the cord because I couldn't at that point have those type of friends. So that left me with literally not very many people. It was bad. Um, and then at the downfall from doing that, though, was I also had to learn to forgive. If anybody had hurt me in any way and I had cut them out, I had to learn to forgive. And I just started doing that. I'm not even kidding you. Instead of being like bitter and like, snip, snip, motherfucker, I had to be like, I'm sorry, but you hurt me. You hurt me in a certain way. Or I was constantly giving to you and you were unable to even let me talk to you about what was going on in my life. Or I didn't like the actions you had. I didn't feel you were beneficial, and that's why I did that. And there's been a lot of that going on in my life. And some people, like, they're like, I'm sorry, or, I accept your apology, because I've had to apologize to people too. Like, I've done shit things and hurt people. And once I realized it, I'm like, you are not going to be that person. You're not going to be that person who just cuts people out, doesn't have an explanation, and just stops doing that. So I don't know. And I don't think my sister will mind this, but me and my sister had um, we kind of fell out. And this is my big sister. We're 16 months apart. Um, but she was very angry at me. And I was actually very, very angry at her too. She thought she did something right. I thought I did the right thing. And it ended up to the point where, like, just complete separation. Like, she blocked me from Facebook. Like, but I told her I loved her. I would try to call. I would send her text messages just saying I love you, because I don't want to be that bitter negative person, because bitterness grows. It grows like an ugly tree inside of you, and it makes you so, so negative. So I decided to, do that with a friend. I'm kind of all over the place here, but I decided to do that with friends and family and just make amends, because not in an AA way, because I'm not an AA person. Like, no, that's not the way for me. I feel like I have the inner strength to be able to make decisions to do the right thing. And that's taken a long time, but that's part of growth. I'm not saying AA is bad. Like, if you go to AA and it works for you, like, fuck yeah, like, do what you need to do. But for myself, it came down to, I need to probably talk to somebody and probably have some imbalances with my emotions. Like, it was literally roller coaster. Not bipolar roller coaster or anything, but when I was down in a rut because so much shit had happened, I was down in a rut. We moved to Germany, and I was very happy on a high for moving here. We ended up the house we live in now. We got here, and I seriously crashed. Like, I'm talking depression for like a month and a half. Like bad, like bad. Like, couldn't get off the couch. Like, serious fatigue. I could sleep all day and still go to bed at night. So yeah, again, I know you guys see the positive side when I'm talking about my family and what's going on and everything, but this is like the truth. This is what happened. And I had stopped, drinking heavily at that point and everything, but it's still, I don't know, pain still lingered. It still lingers. Um, but I met an amazing therapist who does not let me bullshit him. Um, he uses examples that make sense to me. Um, he he's on my level. Um, when I was leaving him, my last appointment, he said, "My goal for you is that you never have to have therapy again, and that you never have to take any type of mental health medications again." Because I'm on one medication for depression and one medication for anxiety. He's like, "That's my goal for you." And I was like inside, kind of like, yeah, sure, that'll happen. But he gave me homework even. So this is the example he gave me. I just want to use it real quick, and then I'll get off here because I know I've been talking forever. But he said, don't think about what planet Earth looks like from outer space. And I was like, he's like, I said, don't think about it. Like, when I just said that to you, automatically what pops into your head? What the Earth looks like from outer space. He goes, don't think about what a giraffe looks like. Automatically, what do you think of? A giraffe. And he goes, I told you not to think about it. And then lastly, he goes, don't think about a plorb. And I was like, plorb? Plorb? I was like, what the hell's a plorb? He goes, exactly. So when you've been through traumatic things, and I just covered what's happened to us like the last 3 years. I could go on about a lot of stuff, but that's just the last 3 years that had, I think, kind of spiraled me down into a horrible ditch that I couldn't dig myself out of. So the plorb, I was like, I don't know what that is. He goes, exactly. He goes, your mind is smarter than you think it is. It'll attach itself to trauma. So when you see something that's traumatic, automatically all those feelings, so you're here, you're thinking about something new that's traumatic. All those feelings from your last trauma, they're going to attach itself to the new thing. And then maybe it's something in the future, like maybe it's a job interview, something. It could even be positive things, he said. But the way our minds work is that we tend to attach to those things because we are similar with the feeling. Just like when you walk outside and you smell the rain in a certain way and you're reminded of like your old hometown or something like that, that's just how our minds work. So we're doing mind exercises to help me detach from that. And he's just really good. And I would encourage you, if you do have the strength to go to therapy, do it. If you don't have the strength to go to therapy, research it. Like, just do what you can to be a better you. Nobody's life is perfect. Like Susan, who posts that her kids are awesome in school, and she has beautiful signs all over her house and everything just looks beautiful and perfect. Guess what? Susan's life ain't perfect. So nobody's life is. Like, that's the thing. Nobody's life is perfect. And I confess to that. Like, my household, I should, like, in many times I think I'm like, I should be so thankful. Like, I have a wonderful life. I have my dream car. I have my dream husband. I have, 5 beautiful, healthy, wonderful children. And yet I still can sink into depression. Like, so many people have it so much worse than me. And I said that to my doctor. And I was like, I just want to be better for my husband and my kids. And he goes, you know who else you need to be better for? And I knew what he was going to say. I was like, me. He's like, yeah, you. He's like, you can't pour from an empty cup, which I've heard before. But he's like, you really have to learn how to focus on making sure you're healthy, because the healthier you are, the better all those people that you love are going to be. So I would just, I don't know, if you've made it through this, good job. But I would just encourage you, don't be afraid. Don't think that just because you have anxiety and you don't seem like the other moms on freaking social media, which is a lie anyway, that anything is wrong with you. I try to post like very, very, deep, not, I wouldn't say deep, but truthful things when I'm going through something, because I want you to know that I know you're probably going through it too. And I'm here to encourage you. So um, I feel like after every therapy session I have, I'm going to try to do a vlog, um, just to kind of give you a rundown on the mind exercises and just be honest and real. I'm gonna continue to post fucking cute pictures of my kids. I think I'm gonna do a house video. My girls' beds just came today. We have to get those set up and finish their room, and then I'm gonna do a house video and all that. And from what you see from the outside, that doesn't necessarily mean that's what it is on the inside. Um, Everybody lives behind closed doors, and we don't we don't always want people to see the ugly, but that ugly can be beautiful, and that ugly can be fixed. And you are who you are, and we all have problems. So anyway, that's the end of my, oh Lord, 26-minute vlog for everybody. I hope this helps someone. I hate taking videos of myself. Like, I hate the way my voice sounds on video, like we all do, but um, I just felt the need to post it and just to let y'all know that it ain't perfect over here. It ain't perfect where you are. We got this. We can do it together. We can encourage each other together. So have a good day. Tschüss.